play
Yeah, very hopeful for tomorrow. And obviously, I think it'll be difficult for me to play both this one on Wednesday and then obviously the one on Thursday, but we'll see. Not from, a health standpoint.
There is a brutal, undeniable reality about the Indiana Fever coaching staff that they desperately try to hide from every single person who pays money to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. Stephanie White just confirmed that the most electrifying player in the WNBA, the franchise's entire future, the reason the Fever sell out arenas on the road, the reason this team is even remotely relevant in 2025, is being placed on a minutes restriction for her return game against the LA Sparks. 20 minutes. 20. After Caitlin Clark missed 2 games with back stiffness, after the Fever somehow managed to beat Vegas without her, the coaching staff has decided that the best way to deploy the greatest offensive weapon in women's basketball is to limit her to 20 minutes against one of the worst teams in the league. And the part that nobody on ESPN is willing to say out loud, this is not about health. This is about control. This is about a coaching staff that has spent the entire season trying to manage Caitlin Clark instead of unleashing her. And that era should be dead and buried. But Stephanie White just told us on camera, with reporters watching, that she is going to do it again. Welcome back. This is Channel Name, and today we are ripping the doors off the most frustrating coaching decision of the Fever season and exposing exactly why this minutes restriction is going to cost Indiana a chance to build momentum heading into the most important stretch of their schedule.
It feels kind of weird, honestly, it's like you play for 2 weeks straight. I think we had 5 games and 8 days or whatever it was, and you get so in a groove of going from scout to scout and knowing what people are going to do, and then you have some time off and you're back to it kind of has that training camp feel and get back into the.
Before we get into what Caitlin Clark said in her press conference, and trust me, you need to hear the exact words she used when describing this restriction, I need you to understand the context that the mainstream media is deliberately skipping. The Fever just beat the Las Vegas Aces without Caitlin Clark. The Aces were missing a Ja Wilson, yes, but Indiana's defense looked locked in, their ball movement was crisp, and they won by double digits. That is a great sign for the supporting cast. That is proof that Kelsey Mitchell, Aliyah Boston, and the rest of the roster can hold their own when Caitlin is out. So why, and I want every single person watching this video to sit with this question, why would you bring Caitlin Clark back on a minutes restriction against the LA Sparks, a team that is currently a punching bag in the Western Conference? When you have a back-to-back coming and you need to get your star player back into rhythm as quickly as possible, the answer is not medical, the answer is philosophical. Stephanie White and the Fever coaching staff have been managing Caitlin Clark like she is a fragile asset instead of a generational talent who can carry an offense for 35 minutes a night. And I have been documenting this for 3 months. Go back and watch my video from 2 weeks ago when I broke down the Fever's rotation decisions in their loss to Connecticut. Same pattern, same overcautious approach, same refusal to let Caitlin cook when the game is on the line, and now they are doing it again against the Sparks, on a road trip where momentum matters more than anything. Let me show you the practice footage first because this is important. Caitlin Clark returned to the court, and from everything we saw, she looked completely fine. 3-point shot flowing, no visible discomfort, moving laterally on defense without any hesitation. The back stiffness that kept her out of 2 games, gone, or at the very least, managed to the point where she is physically capable of playing a full game. But here is what Stephanie White told the media when asked about Caitlin's availability for the back-to-back against the Sparks and the Mercury.
Yeah, I think it's just when you have some back stiffness and things like that, it can affect a lot of other areas of your body. So being able to control it and manage it the best you can. But I think overall, I feel good. I feel good about the stuff we're doing to help with it. Obviously, it's not always fun sitting on a plane for 4 hours.
She said it on camera, with reporters writing down every word. Caitlin Clark is hopeful for tomorrow's game, but it will be difficult for her to play both games in the back-to-back. Not from a health standpoint, those are her exact words, not from a health standpoint, but because she is getting back into tune, getting back into rhythm. As if rhythm is something you build by sitting on the bench for half the game against the worst defensive team in the Western Conference. Let me say that back to you in case you missed the absurdity of what we just heard. Caitlin Clark, who has played through contact all season, who has absorbed more physical abuse than any rookie in WNBA history, who has been elbowed, hip-checked, and undercut on a nightly basis without the referees giving her a single call, is now being told that she cannot play back-to-back games because she needs to ease back into the rotation. Meanwhile, the LA Sparks are sitting at the bottom of the standings, their defense is porous, and this is the exact type of game where you let Caitlin Clark go for 30 points in 3 quarters and then rest her in the 4th when the game is already decided. But that is not what Stephanie White is going to do. She's going to play Caitlin for 20 minutes, maybe a little over 20 if we are lucky. And then she's going to sit her for the Phoenix Mercury game the next night, which means the Fever are going to waste 2 games, 2 opportunities to build chemistry, 2 opportunities to get Caitlin back into her offensive rhythm, 2 opportunities to stack wins before they head back home, because the coaching staff is more concerned with managing workload than maximizing talent. This irks my nerves. It really does. Because I have watched this team all season. And the one constant has been that they are at their best when Caitlin Clark is on the floor for 35+ minutes and the offense runs through her. When she is facilitating, when she is pulling up from 30 feet, when she is drawing double teams and kicking to Kelsey Mitchell for open threes, the Fever are a legitimate playoff team. But when the coaching staff tries to get cute with rotations, when they try to limit her minutes in the name of load management, the offense stagnates. The pace slows down and Indiana becomes just another middling team fighting for the 8th seed. And the worst part? Caitlin Clark knows it. Listen to how she describes the challenge of coming back after missing 2 games.
Yeah, very hopeful for tomorrow, and obviously I think it'll be difficult for me to play both this one on Wednesday and then obviously the one on Thursday, but we'll see. Not from, a health standpoint.
She is describing the grind, the mental challenge of being on the road for 10 days, of playing 5 games in 8 days, of going from scouting reports to shoot-arounds to back-to-backs without a break. And her conclusion is that the 8-day break felt weird. It threw off her rhythm. It made the return to basketball feel like training camp all over again. So if Caitlin Clark is telling you that the break disrupted her rhythm, why would the solution be to limit her minutes in her first game back? Why would you not let her play 30 minutes against the Sparks, get her legs under her, let her see the ball go through the hoop 15 times, and then make a decision about the Phoenix game based on how she feels the next morning? The answer is that Stephanie White does not trust Caitlin Clark to manage her own body. And that is the quiet part that nobody on TV is willing to say out loud. The Fever coaching staff has spent the entire season treating Caitlin like a rookie who needs to be protected, when the reality is that she is the most physically and mentally tough player on the roster. She played 40 games at Iowa. She played deep into March Madness. She has been the focal point of opposing defenses since she was a freshman in college. And now in her first WNBA season, the coaching staff is telling her that she cannot handle back-to-back games in May. It is insulting, it is strategically backwards, and it is going to cost the Fever wins.
It feels kind of weird, honestly, it's like you play for 2 weeks straight. I think we had 5 games in 8 days or whatever it was, and you get so in a groove of going from scout to scout and knowing what people are going to do, and then you have some time off and you're back to it kind of has that training camp feel and get back into the.
Let me break down the 4 reasons why this minutes restriction is a catastrophic coaching failure. And I want you to pay close attention because every single one of these points is going to come back to haunt Stephanie White when the Fever miss the playoffs by 1 game. The LA Sparks are 27th in defensive rating. They give up open threes. They struggle to defend the pick and roll. They have no perimeter stopper who can stay in front of Caitlin Clark for more than 2 possessions. This is the type of game where you let Caitlin go for 40 points in 30 minutes and then sit her for the entire 4th quarter when the Fever are up by 20. Instead, Stephanie White is going to play her for 20 minutes. Which means Caitlin will spend half the game watching from the bench while the Sparks claw back into a game they have no business being competitive. And when the Fever need a bucket in the final 2 minutes, Caitlin is going to be cold, out of rhythm, and forced to create offense without having touched the ball for the previous 6 minutes of game time. That is not coaching. That is sabotage. Go back and watch the Fever's loss to the Connecticut Sun 3 weeks ago. Caitlin played 28 minutes, 28, in a game that was decided by 4 points. In a game where the Fever desperately needed her on the floor in the final 5 minutes. But Stephanie White pulled her with 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter to give her a rest, and by the time Caitlin came back in, the Sun had gone on a 12-2 run and the game was out of reach. Same thing happened against the New York Liberty in their second meeting. Caitlin played 31 minutes, sat for a 5-minute stretch in the second half, and the Liberty went on a run that put the game away. Same thing happened against Seattle in their first road game of the season. 3 games, 3 identical mistakes. 3 times Caitlin Clark paid the price for coaching staff that refuses to ride their best player when the game is on the line. And here's the part that should terrify every Fever fan watching this video. The front office is not pushing back. The general manager is not stepping in and saying, hey, maybe we should let the generational talent play more than 20 minutes against the worst team in the conference. The assistant coaches are not leaking to reporters that the minutes restriction is unnecessary. Everyone in the organization is falling in line behind Stephanie White's philosophy, even though the results on the court are screaming that this approach does not work. And every single one of them stayed silent when Caitlin missed 2 games. Every single one of them nodded along when Stephanie White announced the 20-minute restriction. Receipts coming. Because when this team misses the playoffs, the front office is going to pretend like they did everything they could, when the reality is that they enabled a coaching staff that was too scared to unleash their best player. And here is what nobody wants to talk about. Caitlin Clark is 23 years old. She is in her physical prime. She is playing at a level that most rookies do not reach until their 3rd or 4th season, and the Indiana Fever are wasting it. They are wasting it with conservative rotations. They are wasting it with minutes restrictions. They are wasting it with a coaching philosophy that prioritizes caution over dominance. Caitlin Clark should be averaging 35 minutes a night. She should be leading the league in assists. She should be in the MVP conversation. Instead, she is sitting on the bench for 15 minutes a game, watching her teammates struggle to create offense, while Stephanie White talks about load management and getting back into rhythm. That is what Caitlin Clark's prime is being burned for. A coaching staff that is more concerned with protecting her than empowering her.
Yeah, I think it's just like when you have like some back stiffness and things like that, it can affect a lot of other areas of your body. So being able to control it and manage it the best you can. But I think overall, like, I feel good. I feel good about the stuff we're doing to help with it. Obviously, it's not always fun sitting on a plane for 4 hours.
Now let me show you the most telling moment from Caitlin's press conference. Because this is the receipt that nobody on TV is going to play for you, and it proves everything I have been saying about how this coaching staff views their star player. She said it is hard on your body to travel. She said it is hard to be on the road for 10 days, sleeping in different hotels, sitting on planes for 4 hours at a time, and she is absolutely right. The WNBA travel schedule is brutal. The lack of charter flights for most teams means that players are flying commercial, dealing with layovers, getting to hotels at 2 in the morning, and then waking up for shoot-around 6 hours later. It is a grind that the NBA does not have to deal with, and it is a legitimate concern for player health. But here is the thing. Caitlin Clark is not complaining. She is not asking for minutes restriction. She is explaining the context of what it is like to be a professional basketball player on a long road trip, and her conclusion is that she is doing everything she can to stay healthy. She trusts the people behind her. She feels good going into tomorrow's game. So if Caitlin Clark is telling you that she is ready to play, why is Stephanie White overruling her? The answer is control. The Fever coaching staff wants to control the narrative. They want to be able to say, we managed Caitlin's workload responsibly. We protected her from injury. We did everything by the book. And when the team finishes 9th in the standings and misses the playoffs by 2 games, they are going to point to the minutes restriction as evidence that they were being smart, when the reality is that they were being cowardly. I made a video 2 weeks ago breaking down the Fever's rotation decisions in their overtime loss to Atlanta. Go watch it, because I called this exact situation. I said that Stephanie White was going to overcaution Caitlin Clark at some point this season, and it was going to cost the Fever a win. And now here we are. 20-minute restriction against the Sparks, on a road trip where every game matters. Let me give you the 5 predictions that I am staking my credibility on. And I want every single person watching this video to save this timestamp, because when these predictions come true, I want you to come back and tell me I was right. And if I am wrong, roast me in the comments. If Stephanie White is still the head coach of the Indiana Fever by the All-Star break, and the team is sitting below 500, I want every single person to come back and roast me in the comments. But I am telling you right now, the front office is watching. The fans are watching. And if this minutes restriction costs the Fever wins against beatable teams like the Sparks and the Mercury, the pressure is going to mount. Stephanie White was hired because she is a former Fever player, because she knows the organization, because she was supposed to bring stability. But stability does not mean anything if you are not winning games. And if the Fever finish the first half of the season with a losing record, the front office is going to start asking whether a different coach could get more out of this roster. And on Wednesday night, we are going to see Caitlin Clark play exactly 20 to 22 minutes. She is going to score 18 points on efficient shooting. She is going to have 6 assists. And the Fever are going to win by 6 or 7 points, which means the coaching staff is going to point to the victory as proof that the minutes restriction worked. But here's what they are not going to tell you. The Sparks are terrible. The Fever should win this game by 20, and the only reason it stays close is because Caitlin is going to spend half the game on the bench while the Sparks go on runs that never should have happened. Save this clip. Meanwhile, the Fever are going to rest Caitlin for the Phoenix game on Thursday night, and they are going to lose. Phoenix is not a great team, but they are better than the Sparks, and without Caitlin on the floor, the Fever do not have enough offensive firepower to keep up. Kelsey Mitchell is going to have a decent game. Alia Boston is going to get her points in the paint. But the Fever are going to struggle to score in the half-court, and Phoenix is going to pull away in the fourth quarter. Watch the next 2 weeks. This is exactly how it is going to play out. The story is going to break wide open when a national reporter, probably someone from ESPN or The Athletic, runs an article asking why the Fever are limiting Caitlin Clark's minutes when she is clearly their best player. That article is already being written. The reporter is already gathering quotes from anonymous sources inside the organization. And when it drops, the narrative is going to shift from Stephanie White is protecting Caitlin to Stephanie White does not trust Caitlin to carry the offense. Mark this video. It is coming, and the season ends with the Fever finishing as the 7th or 8th seed in the playoffs. They are going to scrape into the postseason because Caitlin Clark is too good to let them miss entirely. But they are going to be a low seed, they are going to draw a top team in the first round, and they are going to lose in 2 games. And when the season is over, the front office is going to look back at games like this one, games where they limited Caitlin to 20 minutes against a terrible opponent, and they are going to realize that they wasted a generational talent's rookie season because they were too conservative to let her dominate. Mark this video. Save the timestamp. Come back in September and tell me I was wrong. And here is the closing emotional beat that I need every single person watching this video to understand. Caitlin Clark is not asking for special treatment. She is not demanding 35 minutes a night. She is not complaining about the travel schedule or the physical toll of the WNBA grind. She is showing up to practice, putting in the work, trusting the medical staff, and telling reporters that she feels good and she is ready to play. And in return, the coaching staff is telling her that she cannot handle back-to-back games against two of the worst teams in the league. That is the reality of the Indiana Fever in 2025. A generational talent who is ready to carry the franchise, and a coaching staff that is too scared to let her. Drop your most honest take in the comments. Is Stephanie White protecting Caitlin Clark's long-term health, or is she overcautioning a star player who is capable of playing 35 minutes a night? Pick a side, defend it. I want to hear from every single person watching this video, and while you are down there, save this comment. I just told you that Caitlin Clark is going to play less than 22 minutes against the Sparks. The Fever are going to win by single digits, and they are going to lose to Phoenix on Thursday. If I am right by the end of this week, come back and tell me. If I am wrong, roast me. I will own it. Tag the friend who keeps telling you that the Fever are better off managing Caitlin's minutes. Make them watch this video and tell you they still believe it after hearing what Stephanie White said on camera. And here is what is coming next. Tomorrow we are going to break down the Sparks game in real time. We are going to track Caitlin's minutes, we are going to document every rotation decision Stephanie White makes, and we are going to show you exactly why this coaching philosophy is holding the Fever back. If you are not subscribed, you are going to miss it. Hit the bell. This is channel name. We will see you in the next video.